What up? It's your girl DJ Reese, and I have the CEO of Cement Boot Entertainment and music producer MC Sabu. What's up?
What's up? What's going on, you know? How you doing, man? What's going on, Savvy? All right.
Man, we're good. We're happy to have you on the show tonight.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. So we're going to jump right on in. So tell everyone where you're from.
Well, I'm from the Bronx, New York. I'm from the Drosneck section of the Bronx.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
now,
the little quiet part. Yeah.
Okay.
Ahead,
how did you end up residing in Jacksonville?
Well, like I said, I'm from the Drosneck section of the Bronx, and you know, me growing up there, it was a good deal. Me living there and growing up and having the experiences that I had there. However, you know, my kids started to get older, and the elements started to change in the neighborhood. And I keep it real, you know. I said, let me move to give them a shot. You know what I mean? So, you know, these are brilliant kids. So I moved down here, Jacksonville, North Carolina, so that they can, you know, continue going through their teenage years, finish school, and just, you know, have a shot at the things they want to do in their lives.
Okay, really I like that. How did you get your stage name, MC Sabu?
Sabu. Well, I got Sabu probably like 1979.
Wow.
Well, when I was a kid growing up, there was a show we used to watch on TV, and one of the characters, his name was Sabu, a little Indian boy. You know, he used to get in so much mischief. So, you know, I thought of myself as that kind of kid, you know, and so I thought it was cool back then, and so I named myself Sabu, you know, and you know, it has so many different meanings. You know, we went through so many phases back then, you know, being a part of the nations of gods and earth. So one of my brothers used to say, oh, that means South Allah, born universal. And, you know, there's all those things as, you know, teenage kids experienced back in the Bronx, you know, back in the days. So that's how I got my name, Sabu. Yeah.
Nice. Now, why did you want to become an MC?
Well, why did I want to be? I didn't really want to become an MC. I've been writing songs and everything. Like back in the days when we were kids in the 70s, late 70s, I'll say about 75 is when you know, a whole bunch of the kids on my block started getting serious about writing. Some guys were singing, some guys were just writing. We say rhymes, we do a dozen. And I used to be one of those guys that did that. You know, I mean, I remember listening to Curtis Mayfield like that. To me, even today, he was one of the hardest rappers. If you listen to like one of his songs, Pusha Man, like that's straight rapping. You know, It's not hip hop. You know, it's not hip hop, but it's rapping. Like we have rap that goes back to like the 60s. You know, when you got Pig Meat McCann. I mean, with Here Comes the Judge, that's rap. You know, that people have been rapping for years. So me just rapping, that was a name that I took so that I can rap in the street. That's how we got through the neighborhoods, you know, by being able to, if your spit game, if your game was up to par, you know. And what I'm talking about right now is really way before hip hop. It's just something that we did.
Okay. How long have you been producing music? So this has to be like since you were a kid. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I started this thing. I was about 12, 13, 14. But really started doing stuff around 14 years old. Like really in studios and seeing new equipment being developed and working with that stuff. I mean, yeah, a long time ago. And I've been doing it for a long time. Yeah, for a long time.
Now, like we just said, you were 14 years old since you've been on the music scene. How did you and your unofficial group members hook up with Africa Bambaataa?
Well, you say, unofficial? I wouldn't say unofficial because, like, we were official. See, back in the days before we started hip-hop, it was a whole culture that existed. And, you know, to me, like I tell, you know, a lot of people that are close to me and how I try to tell them what's going on now and what was going on then. There's so many similarities right now as to what's happening with this whole culture thing. But you know, I just we were rapping. We was in the Bronx. We was a different sound. We were in Thrall's Neck. Thrall's Neck back then, to me, if you would look at it, and I look at it in retrospect, would be the Wakanda of the Bronx.
Wow.
Like we were tight back then. I mean, it was clean. It wasn't burning. Like the Bronx was burning down in the 70s. And hip hop, I wouldn't even call it hip hop, but they were jamming in the parks. We were plugging into the street lights. We were doing all these great things that people from downtown were coming uptown to see. They were amazed to see what we were doing with nothing, you know. And we were doing it in Thrall's Neck also. There were DJs up there, WizKid. You had DJ Redskin that was back in the 70s that really championed a lot of this stuff in for some of the guys in my neighborhood. Bam heard about us up in the Bronx, you know, and he came over and he liked some of us, and some people were already down with a crew from I think Rosedale, Disco King Mario, Ike C and them. They were from Thrall's Neck, but they were down with Mario and the Chuck City crew at the time, and so we got affiliated. It was all music. It was really all music, and we got together. We did a lot of songs with my crew, and we would just pack up in the house. We had turntables, and when somebody had a beat machine, I think it was an 808 machine, an old drum machine.
Wow.
And that was it. We produced the Punk Jam, and that Punk Jam song that we had, like, that was a club banger back in the days. I'm singing like 81, 82, 83, a banger.
Wow.
And then, you know, I mean, it was happening, you know, and at that time, you know, but that's what was going on there. So we hooked up with Bam, and we did the Punk Jam, and then eventually they came out with some more stuff, and, you know, everybody's aware of all of that stuff there. But like I always tell people, go back and look at the dates and look at the times, and then you come back and you tell me.
Right. So did your affiliation with Africa Bambaataa like spark your affiliation with Zulu Nation, or that was something completely different?
Well, yeah, I actually met Bam after I was already a Zulu. So yeah, okay. I mean, because I was already a Zulu already when I met him. Yeah.
So can you explain to our listeners what Zulu Nation is and what type of culture that is?
Zulu Nation is the founders of hip hop. Like, we put together.
You know, a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. The Zulu Nation, like, there's already been rap music. We had the Furious 5, Grandmaster Flash always existed. We loved them. Like, we patterned ourselves after these guys. Like, some people would pattern themselves after Marvin Gaye or some other singer that they love. Like, there's crews, the Cold Crush Brothers. I mean, like, that's hip hop. You know, like, we came in. There was a culture that was formed around this whole music thing. It had nothing to do with the music. There was the break dancing. There was the aerosol can writers. I mean, there was so many different facets that existed in this culture. But we actually named it. You know, people started joining from every other crew, every other place in the Bronx. So you have all these people that will say that, yes, they were Zulus. They're all Zulus from every camp. And when we say every camp, from in the Bronx, in Queens, you got the Tribe Called Quest, you have, I mean, Q-Tip, we have so many different people that is our family, you know, and right. The whole thing, like, it was, I mean, I get teary-eyed when I think about the moment. I think about now what's going on with music, but then I think about then, because it was all about upward mobility. Hip-hop gave me the wherewithal and the sense to know that I need to move my kids down south. Not for me, because you know what? I mean, I've been through a whole lot of stuff. You know what I mean? We didn't even touch the surface. However, I knew that I can do more for them. You know, and then so that's why we're here. But all of that's what hip hop is. So we joined. I was already a Zulu. I met Bam. And it was music from there, you know. I mean, there's a whole lot of other stuff that transpired. It's like a whole bunch. Like this was real life. I mean, like there's a whole bunch that I can say, you know. But I mean, that's just what it was. This was just a music scene. It was a culture that when, you know, I can go anywhere in the Bronx, anywhere in Manhattan, anywhere in Queens, anywhere in Connecticut. I was down by law. People say that, and that's what we strived for back then. To be down by law. You wanted to be able to go on a train and get off in any neighborhood and not get touched.
Right. And so it's about respect.
It's all respect.
That's dope.
All respect.
Now, can you explain to our listeners what happened with the record Tommy Boy and why you and your group members never got recognized for the work that you put in?
Okay, well, the song is not called Tommy Boy. It's actually called Punk Jam.
Oh, okay.
And we did this song. Like I said, this was a song that we did that was only for the club. It was mainly for like a major club in New York back then called the Roxy. And that Bam and Jazzy J, and they would play this punk jam, and people would go crazy. It was a different sound. This was a total different sound than normal hip-hop. Like normal rapping, people would be like, "And the service in the pod," and you heard that, you knew that. This was something totally different. This was us trying to put a spin on, like, the tables were turning, you know. And for us, we was like, this was our turn. So we did that song, and it rocked all that time for like 81, 82, 83, and I don't know what happened in 84 because I got arrested. And that's, like I said, that's a whole other side of my story. I got arrested for a crime I didn't commit. They offered me 4 years probation. I did not take it. I went to trial, and I blew. I got 6 to 18 years, and I did 10 years in prison.
Man.
And when I came home from prison, the game has changed. You know what I mean? I mean, the same people, I see a lot of the players are there, and they're in different spots. But, you know, people forgot about what happened before. Like I say, my story's all BC, before crack. You know, see, I didn't get it. I wasn't out here in '85, and when things were like, and you probably wasn't born in '85. Who knows? But you know, I wasn't out here when it was terrible. When the war on drugs was for real, and when people were being swept up out the street, myself included, for something that I didn't even do. You know, but I mean, that's a whole other story, and I have my whole camp and everybody, like, we're all on that. Like, we're on those different issues and things that happen. Like I said, my story is that's what happened. So when I came home, and I'm just living my life, I'm trying to abide by the law, I'm on parole, I got me a job, you know what I mean? And I'm doing good. Don't know nothing forgot about all of that past stuff. Like, literally forgot about it. Then a friend of mine told me, hey, yo, they bootleg the Punk Jam. I haven't heard about the Punk Jam in years. Really?
Right.
They bootlegged it. Yeah, they're selling it in Japan and in Europe. And it's a big deal. So I went online and I looked. I'm like, man, the last one sold for like $200 and something.
Wow.
Like, people are really buying it. I'm like, and then it's on the Tommy Boy imprint. See, now, the thing is, I got the contract back then before I got locked up, but my mother wouldn't sign it.
Man.
Like, I don't know, there's something fishy about this thing here. She would not sign it. However, they still was able to do whatever they wanted to do. So, you know, I mean, litigation and all that stuff, we have a lot of stuff and different things in play right now. But that's what happened, you know. I mean, I went away. And when I came back, the game changed. I told them people from the beginning, that's my melody. I wrote that. I wrote that in 1970, about 1979, 80, around there. I wrote a whole melody. And the song came out maybe a month or two after mine with my same melody. Maybe not even a month or two, a year after. We did ours in 81. That came out in 82. And I told her I was screaming at the top of my lungs. No one went to hear. I got arrested, came back, said somebody sold our shit. Because nobody else is complaining about something that is is a major. And if you know anything about Punk Jam, all you got to do is go look at who sampled and type in Punk Jam, and then you'll see, and then you listen and you tell me. So I'm not going to say much because, there's a lot of other things at play. But, yeah, I want everybody to be aware. Listen to the song. Listen to something. You'll hear a whole bunch of familiar stuff. And when I tell you that it's all mine, it's original. I was 14 years old. I was a kid.
Is there any way to take legal action against it?
Well, I actually have a lawyer looking into everything right now.
Okay.
And I actually see the pros and I see the cons. But like I said, but I'm just going to continue doing what we're doing with Cement Boot, and
right.
It's all about platforms. See, I'm not going to stand on the top and complain like, "Oh my God, look what you did to me." So someone can say, "Oh, he's just mad," or whatever.
Right.
And yeah, we remember him, but that was way back when. No, I'll start a whole brand new thing, and I'll get to the top. So that when I tell my story, I'm not just telling it because I want something. I'm telling it because I want you to know it.
Right.
Saying that's that.
And speaking of Cement Boot, can you explain to our listeners how you got it started?
I started Cement Boot. Wow. Well, I was, like I said, I was out. I stepped out of the game for a while, and a buddy of mine came to me and said that he was working with a group, and he wanted me to write for him. And this buddy of mine, this guy Stacey Williams, which is another staple in hip hop, R.I.P. He passed away, but he came to me, wanted me to write for him, to write for his group. So I wrote for the group, and then we went over to the spots, let them hear the song, and it was my wife was there, but she wasn't my wife at the time, and she was one of the singers, and they were actually doing their thing. They was with a company called Versatile Records. And they were doing something. This was back in the days. And so I helped her out. I wrote the song, but then I continued working with the group and actually A&R for that company. And but things started getting sideways. And I really liked her voice, and I really liked her. So I actually started Cement Boot. I just started something. I said something that would be solid, something that would be a unique brand that no one else in the world saying, something that we can hold on to. Like there's 1,000 billion everybody else, but it's only one Cement Boot Entertainment. If you type us in, you'll only find me. And we started a company for her. And she had a deal, little thing we did with Universal back in the days, and
nice.
That thing worked out for a second, and then it did what it did, and then we keeping it pushing. Now we just continue keeping it pushing. So this whole thing has always been just a family thing.
Right.
So that's what hip hop is. Hip hop is about upward mobility. It's not about death and dying. I mean, I love all the music, trap music, and that's what it is, trap music. And to me, trap, that's not hip hop. It's what it is. It's that culture. And people that do it, they should just embrace it. Because hip hop, it was about peace, love, and unity. Period.
I agree.
And that's when I get a little controversial. But I love it all.
It's okay. This is your platform. Say whatever that you want.
Yeah.
How many artists do you have signed to your label right now? I know you have your son, and I've heard his music. He's an awesome singer, by the way.
Thanks. I got about six artists. I got Cement Boot Music Group, which is there's 3 there. I got an R&B singer, Rico Carter. I got an Atlanta rapper, Pimp T. Yeah, that's it, right? Who else?
Okay.
Well, but I'm working with Simone. I'm working with Henny the Brain. I mean, we just all trying to just get it, and I'm trying to do it the hip hop way. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to do it the hip hop way.
Okay.
I got an artist, 2K. I mean, who's a monster, and but we have to deal with his situation. I mean, like, we got life. We're just dealing with life as it comes. It's all about real things, about hip hop. We put it in our music. If you listen to it, you hear what we're saying. We all work. We all have educations and have experiences. And like I always tell, this is what hip hop is. You want to live. You know what I mean? For whatever time we have, Like I had experiences in my life. You know, we grew up. We fought to establish this. You know, my mother didn't believe in it. She would never sign a contract. She wouldn't do it. And then a situation broke out, and then she called me on the phone and was like, you see, that's why this. I knew it. And that's a whole other story, you know.
Right, but that's all right. Come back for a follow-up interview. We can talk about that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But so do you have any artists who are dropping any songs or singles, EPs or anything coming out soon?
Right now, everybody's working. JJ Jones is he should be dropping something soon. Rico's still working. Everybody's working. You know, everybody's working on stuff, and you know, we still have our music out there that we still touring around and trying to get as much exposure as we can possibly get. You know, for our music, and just doing it that way. You know, the hip hop way, you know, get out there and mingle and touch shoulders and talk and get real friends. You know, I mean, that's why I was telling them, like, that's the only similarity I see between back when I was a kid growing up, trying to get likes, but we got real likes, like from people. You had to see them. They gave you daps, they gave you handshakes, you know, because that's what it was all about. Now, you know, you can sit here in your house and get a whole bunch, and you don't know who near one of them.
Right.
But back then, that's like some similarities. Like I said, shit, you know, you can get out there, you can get it. Because we got out there and we got it, you know, and we changed the world. I mean, like, literally changed the world. Like, I was just looking at one of your questions, like, how do you feel to, what do you say, how do you feel to be a part of hip-hop or something like that, or, I mean...
Oh, yeah, I was about to ask you that, but go ahead.
We changed the world, you know. I mean, because of politics and a lot of shady stuff transpired and money started being made. There's so many people that have been left out that you should know about, you know. But because now what it's really about is that dollar, and it ain't our dollar, you know. It's those people. We should have peeped them out when they started coming uptown, checking us out. We should have peeped them out when they started taking us downtown. When they started introducing us to various different crazy kind of drugs we'd never experienced before. You know, it's like the story's ridiculous. Like, you know, but that was hip hop, man. You know, we changed the game, and we changed lives. I mean, it changed my life. I'm here right now talking to you. I'm 52 years old. You know, I'm a young cat still, but you know, I mean, I'm MC Sabu. You know, I was in the front lines. We changed the game. They stole from us. You know, I mean, we changed it up. You know, and I'm proud of that. So that's what I try to inspire and inculcate into cement Boot Entertainment into our artists, is that, you know what, it's all about life, man. This is a business. You know, they want you to go to work 9 to 5 every day, and we got to do it until we master this thing here, and it take care of its business. Then we got to do it. You know, and I try to give them a vehicle that they can own. Like, you are the deal. You know, like, teaching them the real deal about this business. Like, there's a whole lot of stuff in this thing here. You know, but if God willing, everything transpire and go right with my situation, then they're not even going to have to worry about it. You know? Big fact. But,
and I feel honored to even have you on my show to talk about all these things. For real.
You know what? Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, I mean, I haven't talked about anything. I haven't talked about. I haven't even talked about me. But like I said, you know, where we came from and the things we did, like the things we heard. You know, when people say like, "Oh, we didn't change." You know, we innovated. We was very innovative. You know, there was a lot of stuff. Our parents came from the '60s, man, and all their heroes was killed, man. So, you know, people ain't gonna say it, but a lot of our parents was wounded, man. You know, and we had to do something for ourselves. I mean, that's what created hip hop in the '70s, man. That's what created us. That's what made us get out and say that, you know what, that we're gonna be outspoken, that we're gonna speak, that we're gonna say things, we're gonna rap about the future. We're gonna make predictions. You know, we didn't have nothing, but we said it like we did because we knew that one day we will, and that's what it was all about. You know what? So nobody clowns you if you was talking about your car that you didn't have, but they was like, damn, the wordplay was sick. You know, and sometimes, you know, you listen, you know, I listen and I'm like, yeah, some of it was, but we came and we changed it up. You know, you listen to that Punk Jam, it's pretty good. You know, that's the raw copy. I'm still looking for the actual mastered version. I mean, that's raw. And that was actually, they said it was bootleg from 81 acetate, you know, so I'm like, that's way back, you know, I mean, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. I thank you so much for this interview, you know.
Well, you're absolutely welcome. I really enjoyed being interviewed by your son, and I enjoyed this interview. Like, I can't wait to have you back so we can go deeper into your story. Yeah. I think you really have something to share with our listeners.
Okay, great. I do, and I appreciate that. There's a lot in the works with my story right now. Like, there's a lot going on, and you know, but everybody talks, you know. So, but like, it's mine, and it's. I mean, there's a lot to be said, you know. And I'm glad that you're actually pioneering this, still keeping the culture alive. You know, just keep it pushing. That's it, you know.
Absolutely, I will. And before you go, can you share your social media with our listeners so they can go follow you?
Absolutely. Well, you can find me on Facebook, man. Just type in Christopher Sabu Jones. You can find me on Instagram at Cement Boot Music Group. Anywhere at Cement Boot. You'll find me. You'll find my whole team. Everywhere. Hollow Space, man. Everywhere. You'll just find us. Just check us out, Cement Boot Music Group. CMENTBOOT. That's it. Not CMENTBOOT. Cement Boot.
All right. Again, I appreciate you coming on here.
Thank you very much.
It's your girl, DJ Reese, and I'm out.
Digital Dope Radio.